Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. In this video, I want to talk about the controversy that is being pushed towards the Trump administration. And this is in reference to why Trump did not release the Marine Whelan from the Russian prison when he had an opportunity to do so. Now, this video is actually a response to a post that I put up on Facebook a week or so ago when I was talking about what the Biden administration had done. And I was criticizing him for what he had done. And I'm like, I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with the fact that this Marine was not released. And the person responded by saying, well, how come Trump didn't release? And then I responded, I don't remember everything that I said, but I did respond in jest. But here is Trump's answer to why he did not release the Marine. Here is his answer, because still, regardless, this is a bum deal that we got. I don't care how you put it. This is a bum deal that we got. And in my last video that I did about this same subject, I did not mention the danger necessarily of this other guy, Bout, B-O-U-T. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Even if I'm not pronouncing his name right, it don't even matter because he's a criminal, a murderer. I didn't talk much about him. I talked more about the Marine and how I feel that the American military is treated wrongly by the American government. But we're going to get into this article here. I'm going to read you out of Epoch Times Trump's response to this accusation of why he did not get the Marine out. And Trump is going to tell you right here. So let's get right into this article. And then I'm going to give you guys my commentary. But let's get into this. And it says, former President Donald Trump said he had previously turned down a prisoner swap with Russia, saying he couldn't have former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan home, but allow out convicted Russian arms dealer Victor Bout, who had, quote, killed untold numbers. I turned down a deal with Russia for a one-on-one swap of the so-called Merchant of Death for Paul Whelan. I wouldn't have made the deal for 100 people in exchange for someone that had killed untold numbers of people with this arms deal, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform on December 11th. Bout, 55, who was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 2012 for conspiring to sell millions of dollars worth of weapons to a Colombian terrorist group committed to killing Americans, was freed on December 8th in exchange for the release of WNBA star Brittany Griner, 32. Griner was sentenced to 9 years in prison by a Russian court in August after pleading guilty to carrying cannabis products when she landed at Moscow's airport in February. Despite rejecting the swap, Trump said he would still secure Whelan's release. Whelan was arrested in Moscow in December 2018 before he was handed a 16-year prison sentence on spying charges by a Russian court in June 2015. I would have gotten Paul out, however, just as I did with a record number of other hostages, Trump added. Now, these are Trump's words, obviously, so people can criticize and say, well, he didn't mean this, whatever. These are his words. This is his defense. The article goes on. President Joe Biden has described talks with Moscow over securing Griner's release as, quote, painstaking and intense negotiations. Oh, that's really, really powerful. Painstaking and intense negotiations. That's a bunch of nonsense. Rhetoric. I'm so sick of these politics with politicians and their rhetoric. Painstaking and intense negotiations. What does that even mean? I mean, elaborate on that. They like to put little catchphrases in there to make you think that they're really doing something. Anyway, Trump on Sunday also criticized the Biden administration over his prisoner exchange agreement with Moscow. The deal for Griner is crazy and bad. The taking wouldn't have even happened during my administration. But if it did, I would have gotten her out fast, Trump wrote. Trump's Truth Social post on Sunday is not the first time the former president has weighed in on the prisoner swap. The Trump administration got 58 hostages released from various hostile countries without paying any money or giving up anything, Trump wrote on Truth Social last week. This is something that has never been done before in any other administration. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. But this is what Trump says. He goes on to say, the American-hating basketball player for the Merchant of Death, especially when the former Marine is not even included, is a one-sided disaster and a big win for Russia, he continued. If I made that deal, the Democrats would chant, Russia, Russia, Russia. Yes, they would. They would have done it. They would have done it. And that's basically it right there. Let me see something here I wanted to, about Trump's words. But here's something else that I wanted to bring out. Congress says something here that was interesting. It says the Griner for bout swap has drawn praise and criticism in Congress, needless to say, with both reactions splitting mostly along party lines. President Biden's Secretary Anthony Blinken and the many hardworking national security professionals are to be commended for their tireless, steadfast work to bring Brittany home. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wrote in the stuff. Of course, she gonna say that. But this is crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. Let me read something that Senator Ted Cruz said. He said, Bout is one of the most dangerous men in the world and an arms dealer who conspired to kill Americans and aid terrorists. And his release makes every American less safe. So does the manner of his release, which will encourage terrorists and rogue regimes to seize more Americans as hostages, Cruz wrote. It's just crazy, man. The whole thing is crazy. And this ought not have been the case. But that's all I'm going to read right there. But that's Trump's answer to why he did not get Wellens out, the Marine out. Now, I talked about that in my last video, and I was not happy at the Biden administration's exchange. You give us a basketball player that plays in the league that not a lot of people watches because it's not interesting. Okay, it is what it is. They just do not. There aren't too many people that watch women's basketball. It is what it is. Okay, you give us her in exchange for an arms dealer who is considered to be by some critics to be one of the most dangerous men in the world. It doesn't make sense. We got a bum deal, and Trump answered that question. Now, here's my thing. Here's what if I was in the presidency, I would say this was what I would do. If you're not going to allow me to have the Marine Whelan, because if you read further in that article, it says that the Russian government saw Whelan in a different way, because one of the spokesmen for the Biden administration stated that the reason why they couldn't take Whelan because the Russian government didn't want to do that. They saw him as a different person. They saw him as a person of espionage, a spy. They wasn't about to let him go. So according to this spokesman for the Biden administration, stated the reason why we couldn't do that trade was because Russia didn't want to do that trade. We had to come some other way. This is what I would have done, because the trade is still unfair to American people and it puts American people in danger. I would have said this: let Griner stay. You let her stay. She broke the law willfully and consciously. Let her stay. That's what I would have said. I would have said, wouldn't have been no deal. If the Russian government would not allow me to trade this Marine for a crime that he says himself didn't even actually occur. He was just convicted. He was just put behind bars. But he says, Wiley says, if you read the rest of the article, he said it didn't even actually occur. But he's behind prison wall. He's behind bars in a Russian prison. I would have said, you know what? If I can't get this Marine out, then neither will Griner get out. We won't do no trade. She'll stay there for a while until we can come up with another solution. She'll be all right. Just like this Marine will be all right, she'll be all right. She broke the law willfully. She broke the law consciously. Now, am I glad she's back? Yeah, I'm glad she's back. But it doesn't change anything because I didn't know anything about her anyway. I didn't know anything about this woman like I don't know hardly anything about women's basketball. I hardly know that much about men's basketball because I don't watch basketball that much, really. I just really don't. It's not my thing. I'm more or less into football, even though I haven't been watching that much neither because since they got woke. But I really wasn't. I didn't know anything about her until she got locked up. Then it was this big hoopla about her getting locked up. And I'm like, who is this? And so I looked and I found out that, did some studying on it and found out that she said that America is systemically racist and this, that, and the other, woo, 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 woo. She was all against America and all this kind of stuff. And now that she's back, I'm not all that happy about it. I'm pretty sure most Americans aren't that. I mean, to where I see it, most Americans that know what she said and did aren't all that hooped out about it. You know, but the mainstream media is certainly praising the Biden administration for this. Oh, you did the best thing in the world. Ooh, man, you the bomb. You really, really did something. He didn't do anything. He endangered you and I. And I hope and pray that this guy, this terrorist, doesn't start forming more groups against Americans and start taking more Americans hostage. I pray and hope that doesn't happen. But see, this is one of the things that bothers me about these politicians. They get up here and they smile in your face and they do all this kind of stuff. And then they get up here and do the exact opposite of what Americans really need. It really upsets me how people turned on Trump and hated Trump and this, that, and the other. But look, you wanted Biden. You wanted the man with the tie. You wanted the man that could talk real, which he can't talk. The man can barely talk. But you wanted this clown for a person that you consider to be a clown. But at least he had his cognitive abilities. At least he could think. At least he could talk. But you didn't want Trump. You didn't want him because of his mean tweets. Of all the politicians, for the little bit of while that I've been on this earth, of all the politicians or people who were in a position of politics, for all the politicians, he seems to be the only one. Trump seemed to be the only one that really cared about America. And I had known about Trump and his views of capitalism and so forth before he became president. I purchased a couple of books from him. And back in 2011, I think one was co-wrote by someone else. And he was talking about how the middle class is being slowly destroyed in America. He was on top of this before there was even, he was on top of this years ago. He was on top of this years ago. So all these people yicking and yakking and talking about how much they hate Trump, woo, 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 this and Trump is this and Trump ain't that and why. This man was on top of this stuff before he even got into the presidency. I guarantee you I know more about Trump than most of these people that yak and talk about him. And I don't even know that much about him. But I guarantee you I know more about him than they do. But you wanted Biden. You wanted the man. You wanted the smooth talker. You wanted the smooth talk. You wanted somebody that could dress the part. And I get it. One particular YouTuber said people want this kind of person. They want a politician. They want somebody that can talk the political talk and talk the political rhetoric. It's just the way it is. And Republicans have to understand, and the people that and he was talking about, I think he was criticizing the way Republicans have to change their marketing campaign to win votes. And I get it, I understand. But to me, that's a sad case. Because to me, what that shows me is that people are brainwashed. They're under mind control. Because they want a politician, someone to get in there and really, really, really talk the talk. But when they get in there and talk the talk, they never walk the walk. Trump was the only one that walked the walk. So why would you want someone in there to just talk the talk and can talk smooth and have a nice suit and can give you all the little accolades and all this kind of stuff because they're a politician? I hear this all the time, man. I'm tired of these politicians lying, man. But then you go and vote for a politician, they get in office and do the exact opposite of what you wanted them to do. You the one put them in there. So why get mad? Get mad at yourself. You did it. I know I'm preaching, y'all, but I get so tired of people talking crazy. I used to do the same thing, but thanks be to God, man, my eyes got open. And I be trying to open other people's eyes too. I'm like, man, come on now. You the one put the person in. You didn't want Trump. Now you getting this. Now you got the Biden administration gives you and me Griner. Oh, the American hating female basketball player. Let's give you her and release into the world one of the most dangerous men in the world. You explain to me how that makes sense. You explain to me that's a good trade. And I don't want to hear nothing else about, well, why didn't Trump did it? I already gave you the answer. I already gave people the answer. That's why Trump didn't do it. Because he wasn't going to trade violence for one person for another person who is a threat to American people. That's why he didn't do it. But Biden, he don't care. He a puppet like the rest of them. He don't care. He want the one world government. He wants to bring as much fear and anguish and anxiety to the American people as he possibly can. And I pray and hope we don't have another 9/11, because if we do, I'm blaming that the Biden administration. And I'm blaming the people that voted for him, because I told you so. I told you so. But you didn't want to listen to me. Now I'm going to sit back with my arms folded and just laugh at you, because I told you so. I know I'm being harsh, but that's the way only time people can understand is when you harsh, when you rough, when you heavy on them. I'm not talking about any of you guys that's watching this. You know, I'm speaking in general. Speaking in general. You can put whatever you want to put in the comment box. That's what I feel. That's what I believe. That's what I stand on. The deal was a bum deal, and we are in danger. And I pray and hope that this guy doesn't go bum crazy and start bombing up and taking Americans hostage. But we are in danger. That's a bum deal. That's all I got to say about it. What's you guys' opinion on this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.